How does childhood trauma affect us as adults? Childhood trauma happens when children are exposed to distressing or emotionally painful events. This can include events like actual or threatened death, serious injury or sexual violence, neglect, and emotional manipulation like guilt trips, and making the child feel like they are responsible for your emotional process. Childhood trauma not only occurs when a child experiences an event themselves, but also when a child is exposed to traumatic events. So, how do I know if I was emotionally neglected as a child? There are several signs, such as feelings of detachment, lack of peer group, dissociative inclinations, and difficulty in being emotionally present. Some signs of childhood trauma are reliving the event in flashbacks or nightmares, avoidance, anxiety, depression, anger, problems with trust, self-destructive or risky behaviors, and even withdrawal. Other ways that childhood trauma presents in adults are you might have difficulties trusting, low self-esteem, fears of being judged, constant attempts to please, outbursts of frustration, or social anxiety symptoms. So what could trigger your childhood trauma? Specific smells, sounds, sights, tastes, or forms of touch. Particular places or people, specific times of the day or times of the year, situations or scenarios that resemble your past traumas, specific emotional states, and certain words or topics of conversation. So how do we heal from our childhood trauma? The adult must acknowledge this certain childhood experience as trauma. It is the first step in coming to terms with how the trauma has affected them and accepting that it's okay. This will help them give meaning to their current difficulties and make sense of their struggles. Be patient with yourself. Self-criticism and guilt can be very common when it comes to adults who have lived through a traumatic childhood. Some people could ask, why do I act this way? What's wrong with me? I could have dealt with this in a better way. These thought patterns can lead to hopelessness and frustration. And the key here is to stop and think you are not responsible for what happened. Your childhood trauma has left a scar, and you're trying your best to heal. But like all wounds, it's important to take the time to heal correctly.